Hi everyone and welcome back to the video. In this video, we're gonna talk about how to install essential plugins for your blog. So in the previous video, I have talked about the different types of plugins that are available to you. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the different essentials plugin that you should install for your blog. So if you don't know what plugins are, then plugins are small pieces of software that can add new features and functionality to your blog, such as contact forms, social media buttons, SEO tools, and more. Plugins can make your blog more attractive, more user friendly and professional. So how do you choose and install the right plugin for your blog? So there are thousands of plugins available online, and new plugins are introduced in the market every day for different blogging platforms. So it can be overwhelming to decide which ones you need and which ones you don't. Don't worry, I'm going to give you some tips to help you choose and install the best plugins for your blog. And these are practical tips that I have written after reflecting on my own experience of blogging. Okay, so you can count on these tips. So the first tip is to decide what features and functionality you need for your blog. So think about what kind of blog you have and what kind of audience you want to reach. For example, if you have a travel blog, you might want to add a plugin that lets you display maps or photos of your destination. If you have a business blog, you might want to add a plugin that lets you collect email address or sell products. Once you have a list of features and functionalities you need, you can start looking for plugins that offer those features. You can find plugins on the plugin repository on your blogging platform, such as WordPress. So WordPress has this repository of plugins both on their website on WordPress.com and even in the WordPress platform on your website. You can click on plugins and you will see a lot of plugins that are available to you. And you can add plugins from here as well. And you can also search for plugins online that suits your needs. This was the first tip. The second tip is that choose reliable and well-reviewed plugins. Not all the plugins are created equal, and so it's important to choose ones that are trustworthy and high quality. You don't want to install a plugin that breaks your blog or cause security issues. So how do you know if a plugin is reliable and well-reviewed? You can look for plugins that have a high rating and a lot of positive reviews from other users. You can also check the plugin's website or support forum for more information about its featured updates and compatibility. You can also look for plugins that are created by reputable developers or companies. The third tip is to consider the impact on your blog's performance of any plugin. Some plugins can affect your blog's speed and performance, which can affect your user experience and SEO rankings. You want to choose plugins that are optimized for performance and don't slow down your blog. How do you know if a plugin affects your blog's performance? You can use tools like Google PageSpeed Insights or GTmetrix to test your blog speed and performance before and after installing a plugin. You might have to clear cache of your website if you want to see the changes on your own. But if you're using these tools, then you don't have to worry about cache removing or deleting the cache. So these tools can help you identify any performance issue and suggest ways to improve them. The fourth tip is to don't overdo it by adding too many plugins. While it's great to add new features and functionalities to your blog, adding too many plugins can have a negative consequences. Too many plugins can slow down your blog, make it harder to manage, and increase the risk of conflicts or errors. So these were the 4 tips that I wanted to give you about how to check or how to decide on whether you want to install any particular plugin or not. The most important one is the plugins that affects your blog's performance, because page speed is very important, and Google and other search engines also give a great importance to the speed of your website. So do check out the impact of any plugin that you install on your blog's performance and speed, because there are many plugins that may work in the background and may reduce your page speed. Okay, so now how many plugins is too many? There is no definite answer to this question, as it depends on various factors such as the type of plugin, the quality of plugin, and the hosting service, etc. However, a general rule of thumb is to keep it simple and minimal. Choose only the plugins that are essential for your blog and delete any plugins that you don't want to use. The fifth step is to check compatibility before installing a new plugin on your blog. Some plugins may not work well with your blogging platform or other plugins that you have installed, and they may conflict with each other. This can cause problems with your blog's functionalities or appearances. So how do you check compatibility? You can check the plugin documentation or support forum for information about its compatibility with other platforms and versions. You can also test the plugin on a staging site or local development environment before installing it on your live site. This way, you can avoid any potential issues or conflicts with your live site. You can install WordPress or whatever blogging platform you're using on a local server, and you can install that plugin on your local server and see if there is any issue with your if there is any issue, and if it breaks anything or if it conflicts with any of the already plugins that you have installed already, and then you can install it on your live site. This step is optional if you're just beginning, but it becomes difficult as your website grows and you cannot afford to do you cannot afford to break your website. And okay, so if the stakes are very high, then you have to take the step of uh, checking your plugin on a local server and then installing it on your main website. So this was all about this video. The action steps for today's video are: the first step is determine which plugins are necessary for your blog. Okay, so think about the features and functionality you need for your blog and choose only the plugins that meet those needs. Some essential plugins that are useful for most blogs include security plugins such as WordFence or Sucuri, a backup plugin such as Updraft Plus or Backup Buddy, and a caching plugin such as WP Rocket or W3 Total Cache. The second step is to choose reliable and well-reviewed plugins. You can look for plugins with a high rating and positive reviews from other users, and check the plugin's website or support forum for more information about its reliability and performance. You can also look for plugins that are created by reputable developers or companies. Third step is to install plugins. Third step is to just install the plugins on your blog. Once you have chosen the plugins you need, you can install them on your blog by following the instructions on the plugin website or documentation. Usually you can install plugins by uploading them on your blog's dashboard or by using an FTP client. And if you are installing that plugin using the WordPress repository, then you can directly go into the WordPress, click on plugins, click on add new plugins, and then you can search for the plugin and install it in the inside the WordPress itself. Make sure to activate the plugin after installing them, and configure the settings accordingly to your preferences and needs. Fourth step is to test your blog's performance and functionality. After installing any plugin, you should test your blog's performance and functionality to make sure everything is working properly and there are no issues or conflicts. You can use tools like Google PageSpeed, Insights, or GTmetrix to test your blog's speed and performance, and check your blog's appearance and functionality on different browsers and devices. And the fifth step is to consider the impact on your blog's performance. Sixth step is to don't install too many plugins. While it can be tempting to add a lot of plugins to your blog, especially if you are beginning, it's important to not overdo it. Too many plugins can slow down your blog and make it more difficult to manage. So choose only the plugins that are necessary for your blog and regularly review and remove any unnecessary or inactive ones. And the last step or point is key: check plugin compatibility. Make sure to check the plugin's compatibility with your version of WordPress and the compatibility of plugins with other plugins. So some plugins may not work properly or may cause conflicts with other plugins, which can lead to issues with blog. Check the plugin's documentation or support forum for compatibility information, and consider testing the plugins on a staging site or local environment before installing it on your live blog if the stakes are very high. And again, I'll tell you that plugins are dynamic and they are changing every day. New plugins are coming in, older ones are getting outdated, and developers are updating their plugins every month or every couple of months. They are updating their plugins frequently to make them compatible with newer versions of WordPress or whatever the blogging platform that you're using. So this was today's video. If you want to know the common mistakes that people make which is related to today's topic, or if you want to read notes of today's videos, or if you want to just learn more about blogging, then you can check out this book. This book is the source material on the basis of which all the videos are made. Okay, so I'm making all these videos by taking this book as the source material. I have written this book, and this is I have written a lot of extra content in here as well, which I am not able to cover on these videos. So do check this out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.